follow a dream, to save your school, to enjoy your days, to keep a promise, to chase the sound of stars. When it comes to idol anime, finding what drives these characters to go to such lengths is often what makes the story interesting. I'll admit, it might not be for everyone. Maybe you'd rather watch a shonen protagonist kick ass in an epic battle against the most powerful villain. Maybe you like fantastic worlds with mysteries, depth, and a lore of its own. But for me, there is something incredibly charming about following the daily lives of girls who wouldn't even be friends if it wasn't for one thing in common: their passion for music. You ever thought about that? Think about every idol anime you've ever watched and just ask yourself for a moment, would any of these girls even be friends with each other in different circumstances? What made them even get close in the first place? And that's when the most important character of any idol anime comes in. No, it's not the producer, it's the protagonist. It should be obvious. She is the protagonist after all, so she should play a major role on the show regardless. But I think that what makes or breaks a show like this is for how long are we as an audience willing to put up with her crazy stunts. The formula is there. The protagonist is a happy-go-lucky, sometimes clumsy girl who just entered high school and is now looking for a club to join. Sometimes she already has a goal in mind. But in the end, it all comes down to one thing. She finds something that she's passionate about and drags people along with her to show it to them. And if the protagonist isn't convincing, if she isn't genuine in her feelings, then we as an audience would just perceive her as annoying. No one wants to be dragged around to an adventure they didn't even ask for. It's bothersome. So ultimately, what this girl has to do is convince us that her dream is worth fighting for. And that is what Kasumi excels at. It took me half this video to get here, but I needed all of that in order to explain why I think Kasumi is an incredible protagonist and character. Considering the media she's in, which consists of not only an anime but also a mobile game, there are certain restrictions to what you can accomplish with her character. The Bang Dream franchise is, like it or not, bound to a mobile game. So if you're going to develop these characters, then you must do so in a very slow pace. And even so, they still need to retain some core characteristics that make them recognizable. Some characters are just not going to develop in a way that is satisfactory because they have to keep the game going for as long as they can. They can't grow up fast or graduate or leave forever. They are bound to this game, and that's okay. That doesn't mean the events in-game aren't relevant. They do give these characters depth, and with the second anniversary update, we actually see how far they have come as people since the very beginning. What is incredible about Kasumi is how constantly captivating she is in every media she's in. She is the face of the game. She's the first person we see in the anime. Her role as a protagonist is to lure us in and make us stay. And in a game with 25 characters, going up to 30 soon, she cannot do this alone. And she knows it. So her interactions with the other characters, be it her own band or someone else, are always filled with wonder and love for who those characters are. Kasumi absolutely loves Popping Party, and she loves the other bands as well. And through her sheer love for these girls, who make up the entire franchise, we end up loving them too. Of course, that's not to say they don't have their stories separated from Kasumi. Most of the time, she's not even part of the other characters' events. But in the anime, where we mostly follow Popping Party's development, Kasumi's interactions with the other bands always make me excited. It's like I'm watching them through her eyes. The protagonist needs to make us see what is so special about her dream. And Kasumi does that so incredibly well. It was because of her that I ended up loving a band that I didn't really care about before. It's because of her that Popping Party is currently my favorite band, after months of trying to ignore them because I thought that liking the main band was just too cliché. And it's definitely because of her that I learned to love Bang Dream as much as I do now. She is loud and clumsy and drags people along with her ideas. But she's also vulnerable and genuine and so incredibly human. I feel what Kasumi feels, even though we have nothing in common. I'm shy and reserved, and not as passionate as she is, but she keeps showing me over and over again how rewarding it can be to accomplish your goals. It's what prompted me to start this channel in the first place. Kasumi taught me to love this franchise as much as she does. And that is why I think Kasumi is Bang Dream's perfect protagonist.